I used to really hate the term guilty pleasure. I just always felt it was judgy, like, ew, you like that? You're not allowed to like that, like, ugh. And there are certainly people who do act like that, but, you know, the older I get, the more I realize, some stuff definitely gets labeled that for a reason. It's not even like guilty pleasures are an inherently bad thing. Sometimes they're just a product of their time, or they're meant for a very niche audience. Sometimes trends just change and stuff falls out of fashion. Sometimes we all just collectively come out of like a group coma and realize, oh no, this sucks. Why did we do this? Oh God, Creed, really? My point being, almost everything has a shelf life. And just because you enjoy something doesn't necessarily mean you might be able to recommend it to others. I mean, guilty pleasures are like candy bars, you know? I mean, you know damn well this thing is not good for you. It's just empty calories and it should not be a regular part of your diet. But I mean, you know, and that's all this video is. It's just, this is just a list of my top 10 guilty pleasure songs. Stuff that, while I do notice the many flaws they may possess, I mean, I don't know, y'all. They make me do this face. I don't care if these choices make me lame or if y'all think lesser of me. I mean, I just like these songs. Judge me, Diane. My top 10 guiltiest pleasures. Number 10. Oof. Just on premise alone, I knew this video was probably going to be a pretty tricky one. I mean, if you've been watching me for Spider Crush any amount of time, you know I'm kind of a goofball. I don't take myself super seriously, most of the time at least. And you know I absolutely will slip in a dumb joke any opportunity I bloody well can. So this first one, it's gonna be extra difficult because the song itself has become such a big joke over the years. Like, I really need to just grab you by the lapels and just remind you people, this video is not a joke. Stay with me, damn it, stay with me! Yes, I am being 100% serious. I did not set up this whole intro and lead up to this video just to pull a Rickroll. But if I had, like, goddamn, wouldn't that have been like the best Rickroll ever? God, now it almost feels like a missed opportunity. I should have took that shot. But no, people, I promise, I'm being dead serious. I love this damn song. I loved it before it became a meme. I loved it afterwards, and damn it, I still love it today. Which is actually kind of weird because in all honesty, there's not really much there to love with this song. I mean, it's a good song, but there are literally billions of songs just like that. It's honestly nothing special on that kind of level, and sonically, can you tell this song is from the 80s? This is just one of those tracks that is very much a product of its time. The electronic drums that don't even try to hide the fact that they're fake. Hell, practically every instrument on this thing sounds like a setting from a cheap 80s keyboard. Given that it was 1987, there's a very good chance that's exactly what happened. But from those first opening, you just know exactly what this song is gonna be. Front row center. Thousands of years from now, archaeologists will be able to use this song to carbon date 80s civilization. Oy vey, good luck with that. It's almost like unbearably dated, you know? It's kitsch. From the sound, to the style, to the music video where Rick is just dancing like an absolute goof. Not only that, but Astley himself, man. I mean, look at the guy. Made you cry, never gonna say goodbye. all that voice coming out of that tiny, tiny man. It makes perfect sense why this song became a joke. It's got the perfect kind of gotcha moment, you know? You click on a message board or your buddy emails you something and you're hoping to see something cool because, you know, you trust your buddy's judgment. God damn it, Jason! Like, I understand why it ended up becoming a meme, but like, I kind of wish it hadn't because damn it, I do genuinely like this song. This is a genuinely good song, god damn it. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of memes, or at the very least, it's the way it was with a lot of really old school memes from this particular time period. A lot of them were bred out of, spite, I guess is the word I'm looking for. A lot of stuff like this that got passed around was passed around with the attitude of, it's so bad, can you even believe this was a thing? Let's point and laugh at the dumb thing for being dumb. People were rickrolling each other, specifically because they thought the song was bad. And it sucks when you see something like that happen to something you genuinely like, doesn't it? Like, I can't help but wonder how many people are genuinely ashamed to admit that they like, say, All-Star because of what decades of Shrek shaming has done to those people. I'm sure pretty much every person that's sincerely into Evanescence is sick of having to hear, wake me up inside. I can't wake up, wake me up inside. Save me. Memification can just do a lot of really bad things to a song, and with the Rickroll especially, there was a certain smarminess that came with it, you know, and I genuinely don't think it was deserved. I really like Rick's voice. He's got a big, booming presence. It's hard to sing like that in a way that doesn't just sound like picking from somewhere back in the long ago, and even though it's a little blaring, I just gotta admit, I've always been a big fan of this, like, 80s as fuck style of production. You know, the stock Aitken Waterman sound. I'm just kind of a sucker for it. They also did You Spin Me Round by Dead or Alive, Venus by Bananarama. I just gotta admit, the song is just plain catchy, you know? It's got a lot of great hooks, a fantastic chorus, wonderful instrumentation. Yeah, it may be ultra dated, but it isn't like a bad song structurally. Hell, you'd be surprised at how many good songs Rick has under his belt. He actually was someone I considered looking into as a possibility for my 2-Hit Wonders video a while back, and guess what? Nope, doesn't count. I could honestly make an entire other video on the people who didn't make the cut for the 1 or 2-hit wonders. Like, you'd be amazed at how many people you think are 1-hit wonders or whatever, but they totally aren't even close. Be on the lookout for that. The man is more than just the memes. You know, some of his stuff is genuinely pretty compelling. Even his most infamous song, it honestly deserves more respect than it gets. Even if I understand why things happen the way they did, I don't know, anytime I get rickrolled, even to this day, I have trouble clicking away from the video, you know? You rickroll me, I'll probably sit through the whole damn thing. To me, that's a mark of quality. Do it again. Number 9. But okay, you people want meme songs? Oh, I've got meme songs for you people. And I'm not talking just any memes. We're talking ancient memes, crusty memes. Memes so old, they're probably legit older than many of you watching this video right now. God, I wish I were kidding. As if the Rickroll isn't already old as hell, Crash. You don't even know what an old meme is. Oh yeah, people get a good whiff of that. Oh, you can smell the albino black sheep coming off of this one. Just, I wasn't kidding when I said old people. At the time of writing, this is one of those rare internet memes that's literally old enough to buy booze. This was honestly one of the first memes I ever remember hearing about. This happened before many of us even understood what memes were. And y'all, I barely even know what to say to this. You know what? I'm gonna be super upfront on this one. I know nothing about Bhangra music. I know very little about Dollar and his influence on the scene, which apparently is pretty vast and includes several awards, tours all over the world, and an ungodly amount of movie credits. Damn! People, I just want to be upfront with you here. I know very little about this kind of music. I know very little about the culture it comes from. Yeah, I can barely pronounce the menu when I go to an Indian restaurant. I mean, it's not like I can give you a very sophisticated breakdown of this song. No, my love for this one basically just translates to caveman brain shit. Like, I look at this and the only reaction I have to it is I mean, I did do my research. From what I found, it looks like there's not much to get about this track. And the title is literally just an onomatopoeia. I mean, Tunuk Tunuk Tun literally translates to Tunuk Tunuk Tun. This was kind of like the boom boom pow of its time. And as far as I can tell, the song itself isn't even, like, dramatically different from what was going on in the rest of that particular scene at the time. It's just another Bhangra pop hit of many that would have dropped in 1998. The song itself isn't necessarily all that special. What's special about it is that glorious fucking music video. But first things first, this, crisp, clear 480p version, no, this is incorrect. We need to fix this. Okay, knock the quality way down. Now shrink it way the hell down. And now let's do one more thing. Oh, there. See, that is how you're supposed to watch this video. Apparently this video is pretty significant in Indian culture. This was apparently one of the first Indian music videos to use blue screen technology, and the costs to shoot this at the time were roughly equivalent to $1.29 million today. And like, y'all, oh, you can just see the money on the screen. And it's not even the special effects that make this video what it is, although they do help. The driving factor for what makes this video fantastic is just Dollar himself. Look at this guy, the way he's dancing and carrying on. He's so fucking happy. I wish I could be happy about anything as much as Dollar is happy about whatever the hell he's doing here. And rumor has it this whole video was made on a dare. Apparently Mehndi would often take a lot of flacks from critics saying, oh, people only watch your videos because you flood them all with beautiful women. So one day he decided to call their bluff and say, okay, how about I just flood my next video with nothing but me instead? We'll see how that goes over. At least that's the story that got spread around back in the day. In reality, there's not actually a lot to confirm that, but hey, whether it's true or not, it ended up being his biggest hit and an international sensation for years, so he showed them, I guess. But making Dollar the focal point of the video, regardless of motivation, was easily the best idea they could have had because, again, this is just idiot caveman brain, but I look at this pleasant man having the most pleasant time, and it just scratches like the best little itch, just like, I watch this video and my leg shakes like a getting his belly scratched. Unlike the Rickroll, this wasn't really spread around as a joke or a troll. This got passed around with more of a, hey, get a load of this kind of attitude. And like, yeah, even today, the whole point of this segment is me to just go, hey, get a load of this. It's a weirdly wholesome little time capsule of internet nostalgia. It speaks to a more innocent time in online culture. Even if the man behind the song himself is, not so innocent. Oh, damn, really? How could we have known any of this at the time, you know? All we knew at the time was that this guy had gotten his hands on a blue screen, a Sega Saturn, and he was just having the time of his life. And in the early 2000s, you know what? We were too. Da da da. Number 8. Those first two entries, I gotta admit, were mostly chosen to kind of ease you into the idea of what this video is. I mean, again, just because something is a guilty pleasure doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just something that even if you like it, even if you respect it, you can kind of step back from it and go, ooh. And so far, the artists that I've covered, I feel like they fall kind of into that category. Say what you want about them, but they've seen a lot of success in their respective fields and are worthy of at least some kind of respect, you know? This next artist...
Hey, y'all crazy bitch, but you're so good I'm on top of it.
I never said I was a proud man. Ugh, Buckcherry. Just the name itself feels dirty coming out of your mouth. I feel like even a lot of the people who would call themselves Buckcherry fans in 2021 would probably be like, yeah, no, I get it. When the mid-2000s butt rock trend was kicking into high gear and stuff like Hinder and Adelita's Way was popular, remember them? Yeah, these guys just rode that wave as far as it would take them. They were never the outright kings of that scene, but they were able to rake up way more hits than they really deserved. And even though that same chubby, tuneless butt chug music is, unfortunately, still very much with us today, Buckcherry was one of those artists that eventually did just get smothered by all the butt. I mean, yeah, they are still around today, I guess, but if the reaction to my review of their previous record is any indication, basically no one cares anymore. And I know I've been trying to put a positive face on a lot of the artists I've covered so far, but I need to be real with you. No goddamn way am I doing that for fucking Buckcherry. I guess they aren't the worst band you could listen to from this genre. Yeah, I've definitely heard worse, but for the most part, when this band isn't so skeezy, their song titles alone make you embarrassed to be in the same room with it. Their other stuff is just so boring and bland, it's hard to even care. Even at their peak, there was very little that made them stick out from anyone else. But man, I hate to admit it, there was one weird, strange little time where even I got absolutely knocked off of my seat by what they were doing. And the weirder part is, the song in question wasn't even a hit. I won't lie, I'll be amazed if any of you even remember this one. This was the second single off of their debut record. No, not that one. This was pre-Reformation. Yeah, remember this version of the band? Wish I didn't. This was actually the follow to their very, very first single, Lit Up. And while Lit Up did see a decent amount of success, this one barely made a dent. And I kinda understand what happened. Lit Up is this crazy, hedonistic 90s party anthem, and like, it's not subtle.
Motherfucker, titty sucking two ball bitch, cocaine, bitch
man. Even for the 90s, this is a bit much. So after your first single basically screams, to then try to switch to your soft boy, lighters out monster ballad, dude, read the room, you kinda ruined the moment. This is like doing a rail off of a hooker's ass and then asking your girlfriend to cuddle. Despite all of that, I still have a sweet spot for this. None of the other dumb as hell Buckcherry songs I liked when I was an idiot teenager have held up, but no, this one still hits, man. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just like the dreamy wistfulness of it all. Like Buckcherry, both in this era and after the Reformation, were always so
Y'all crazy bitch, but you're so good on my
derpy and knuckleheaded. Not that this song is particularly nuanced or complex, but especially after 15, this band just became really stupid. But on this record, you can tell that they were like trying to go for it. You can tell on this first record that they didn't really have a firm idea of exactly what they wanted to be. So every idea they had, they just cranked it all the way up to 100. And for all of their faults, particularly on this record, you can at least tell that they were like hungry and ambitious. They are really trying their damnedest to make this song work. The lyrics are vague, but they do feel earnest and impactful. And the instrumentation? This is like actually pretty good. Y'all are listening to this, right? This is decent. Like, especially the guitar solo in the bridge, like that is just so super pretty. Like, again, this is that Buckcherry.
Y'all crazy bitch, but you're
Buckcherry. I don't even know if I'd go so far as to say it's a hidden gem or anything, but by God, this is a much better song than you'd ever think a band like this would be capable of making. Again, listen to this song placed up against any of the other slower songs they've tried to do since this record.
You wanna die. I'm sorry, I'm back.
Ick, ew, no, get that out of here. How dare you? Credit where it's due, a fair amount of this may be attributed to the fact that Terry Date produced this song, and his resume kind of speaks for itself. But the fact that you can barely even tell this is a Buckcherry song is just a testament to the strength of the tune itself. And it's also kind of a huge damnation of Buckcherry at the same time, but I mean, you know, I guess it just goes to show that even some of the worst bands out there can still be capable of pulling out one good song. Number 7. Okay. You knew I was gonna eventually talk about this. I mean, it's me we're talking about. You knew I was gonna get to this topic eventually. Let's talk about Christian rock. I mean, fuck, I could just stop there, couldn't I? How the hell do you create an entire fucking genre that feels like a guilty pleasure? You know what, that's not entirely fair. The genre is interesting, but there are acts that fall under that vague umbrella of Christian bands that are actually pretty okay. Even a few genuinely great bands. There are a lot of diamonds in this rough if you know where to look. But make no mistake, this genre is rough. Especially 20 years ago when the genre was just starting to break into the mainstream. I mean, a lot of rock in general around that period is, but add the Christian stuff into the mix and whoo boy, you get some nuclear grade shit, people. I swear, every band I'm showing you right now actually did exist, and I fucking dare you to try to listen to some of this stuff. I figured there would be something buried in all this mess that I used to love as an idiot middle and high schooler, but, Wow, so much of it doesn't, like, so much. Rock in general from this era hasn't exactly aged well, but a lot of the Christian stuff, I can't even give it that excuse. A lot of this stuff would be bad in any era. It being a product of its time does not excuse most of this. It was just as bad back in the day, and time has been even crueler to it. I won't even say that the song I eventually ended up picking here isn't also just like the freaking worst. But god damn it, I just can't help but smile a little when I hear this dumb shit. Its particular brand of shittiness just hits you right in the face. From the second you see the title, Is that how you spell?
No, that is not how you spell prism.
Is there any reason it's spelled like?
Because misspelling things is cool.
And even the name of the band, Pax 217. So what, this is like Christian Blink 182 or Sum 41? Is that the deal? No, truth be told, if anything, they're more like a Christian 311. I mean, come on, 311 is already so super chilled out. Did we really need a Christian version of that? Oh, whatever. I'll bet you anything those numbers are a Bible verse. Oh, yes it is. Ephesians 2:17. Okay, what does that say? And he came and preached peace to you who were far away and peace to those who were near. Really? That's the big inspirational verse you're gonna base the entire group on?
For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that those who believe in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. Okay, so he was over there, and he came over here.
Okay, Crash, so then what makes these guys so special then? Nothing. Like I mentioned up top, this is just as abysmal as a lot of 2000s Christian rock. In fact, I feel like this actually may fall a little farther off the scale because, like, even for 2000s Christian rock, the production is but ugly. The instrumentation is super thin and weak, especially for that, like, white boy reggae shit they were doing. Like, Shooty's Groove would laugh you out of the room, dude. And some of these lyrics. You've got something special that literally anyone else could get at any time. That is the exact opposite of what special is. February 17th! Do you hear me, motherfucker? The 17th day of the second month. That is the only day you are allowed to listen to this song. Any other day and baby Jesus will dropkick your pussy into hell. Orange, yellow, blue, green, and indigo. It's a flag of freedom. Remind me of this indigo. The red, orange, green, yellow flag is the flag of freedom? I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I don't think that flag means what you think it means, my guy. Besides, I've done a lot of sinning under that flag. I know this is bad. This is super bad. This is close to impossible to defend. I don't know, maybe that's why I like it so much. It's almost adorable how bad this is, you know? The style, the videography, the white boys trying to pull off dreads. I don't know, it reminds me when I was a goofy white boy running around suburbia with my ugly ass Jenkos, my huge fucking wallet chains, and my own ugly dress. Who gave you that picture? I think I understand why this song hits so much with me. It's just pure nostalgia. Even though it's awful, it's just another weirdly specific time capsule to a weirdly specific era in a weirdly specific subculture that I happen to be a part of. I hear this song and I just think back to the good memories I have of youth group, VBS, and church camp, which, let's be frank here, is only like 5% of my memories of those times, tops. The other 95% is a lot of guilt, shame, degradation, exploitation, financial ruin, dump trucks of student debt, and dump trucks of homophobia, too. That was fun to deal with. Like Chick-fil-A is just the tip of that iceberg, people. Even with all its baggage, anytime it comes on a playlist or something, I just can't help but feel like a kid again, if only for a little bit. I'll open the floodgates for that. But only on February 17th. That is it! Do it again. Number 6. So what the hell ever happened to Train?
So gangsta, I'm so thug.
You remember them? Save Me San Francisco, Hey Soul Sister, something about hefty bags. They were like your aunt's favorite band for like 2 or 3 summers, and then they just kind of went away. Their Wikipedia says they're still active, but man, oh man, do they just feel like a relic of the past. And it's only been 5 years since their last record, but like, man, they already feel like a piece of tragic nostalgia that I feel like most of us are more than happy to leave behind. Watch them drop something new right as I release this video. Weren't exactly a cool band, were they? Unless you were like the head of the PTA or something, they were not necessarily a band you'd want to get caught listening to. I mean, you pass your phone to your friend and this pops up on your Spotify. You are never getting that aux cord again. They were always just a pretty dorky band. That having been said, I do really like their first 2 records. Even though I like them, I can admit a fair amount of this stuff hasn't aged well. But unlike a lot of the other stuff we discussed, it's not that it hasn't aged well in like an embarrassing kind of shameful sense. It's just more in a, wow, this is insanely boring kind of sense. But even on those first 2 records, I don't know, there was just a lot of charm. Train basically started out as an adult contemporary band. Not at all hard enough to get on regular rotation of the rock stations, but also not quite pillowy and soft enough for pop radio either. They weren't screaming or ugly or angry. They were just Barnes & Noble employees who happen to own distortion pedals. But they started hinting at their desire to go pop on their second record. And, you know, I may as well not even bury the lead with this one. Yeah, go ahead and judge me, but I love this damn song. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe this one isn't as controversial as I'm making it out to be, even though Train went in a weird direction. I still feel like a lot of people can at least vouch for this one. This is like the one Train song that everyone remembers, at least fondly. And like, I don't know, you can tell they worked hard on this song too. They just brought everything they had to the table. The instrumentation is gorgeous, that grand piano driving the riff, the absolutely amazing string work in the latter half. Even Monahan's singing is very, very good on this song. This was during the period where Monahan was, you know, still trying to be a singer and not someone who sounds like he sucks on stovepipes in his spare time. This song was arguably the last moment when Train was worth giving a damn about. But like, thinking back on it, you know, is the song really that good? Again, it's absolutely stellar compositionally and instrumentally. It's catchy, it rises and falls in all the right places. But even on this song, man, some of Train's bad habits are still just right there, front row center. The mix is just so polished. It's like too polished. It's hyper polished. The strings and grand piano basically swallow all the other instruments. They're barely even a presence on this track. And, you know, it's not like I would expect a song like this to have a lot of grit or anything, but this is cleaned up to like a scary way, like a Stepford Wife kind of way. This is basically cleaned up to the point where it sounds like commercial music. I would not at all be surprised if this were used in a commercial, and if it hasn't been, then I promise you one day it totally will be. Like that right there, is that a real commercial or did I just cut that together? Also, Pat's colorful interpretation of lyrics is also still here.
She listens like spring and she talks like June. She checks out Mozart while she does taboo. The best soy latte that you ever had.
Sir, I do genuinely feel and relate to the emotion that you're laying out for us right now, but what in God's green hell are you talking about? It's not quite as bad on this song as it would get in later years.
Untrimmed chairs.
And there is actually a certain amount of feeling that comes across in this one. The song itself is actually written about his dead mother, and if you take that in mind, some of the more out-of-place references kind of make a bit more sense. I mean, it's still loopy as fuck, but I mean, at least you can connect somewhat of a thread of logic there. Maybe it isn't fair to hold what the band would eventually become against them so strongly, especially at this stage in their existence, but I don't know. I get caught listening to this song. I still get a little red-faced, you know? I mean, this band was always kind of waiting room core at their best. Admitting that I actually go out of my way to listen to this kind of thing, I mean, I can't help but feel a little, you know. But hey, even if a band doesn't stay good, it's nice to know that sometimes you can revisit those old songs that did strike a chord with you and realize that those haven't changed. They can still leave an important impact on you. Hey, sometimes it's okay to fall for a shooting star. Number 5. Whew. Okay, that was fun. Now we got to do another hard one. I don't know if y'all are ready to have this conversation, but Limp Bizkit. Yeah! This time I'ma let it all. You know, it's been strange watching the discourse over this band change throughout the years. When they first broke through, people thought they were the most original goddamn thing ever. And then, like, almost overnight, it felt like the entire world just kinda snapped out of it. But that's the weird thing. The narrative around Bizkit's, in more recent years, believe it or not, has been shifting again. Don't get me wrong, there are still plenty of haters out there, but there honestly are a decent amount of people rising out of the woodwork to either sheepishly or not so sheepishly defend themselves as Limp Bizkit fans. So knowing that, it makes me have to ask a bold question. Were Limp Bizkit really a bad band? No, really, I know it's easy to write them off, especially back then, but you know, just think about it.
Just think about it.
Oh, rearranged. God damn it, why do you still hit like this? I've said plenty of shit about Limp Bizkit over the years, but I do, honestly have to come clean with you guys. When I heard them on TRL back in the day, I absolutely loved them. I was head over heels for this band from the minute I heard Faith and Nookie and all of that shit. I was also 13 goddamn years old, so let that speak for itself. But even as the rest of their catalog sours on me, man, I still come back to this song occasionally, and I wonder, are the Defenders right? I mean, listen to this. Just that bass line is fantastic. When they let him, Sam Rivers could honestly shred some really decent lines. And even DJ Lethal's scratching just really works here. I mean, a lot of people barely even notice the DJ in nu metal bands like this, but Lethal was an absolutely fantastic cutter. I mean, the dude's originally from House of Pain, his pedigree speaks for itself. You also gotta give it up to John Otto for how he's busting it out behind the drums. Lots of lovely rolls and rat-a-tat-tats going on all throughout this song. And Borland's nuanced noodling gives it like a sinister and slithery feel. And it all just crescendos so beautifully that it just rises and keeps rising. And when it finally does hit that big climax at the end, it genuinely feels earned. There is a lot of talent in this group. Maybe I am just letting the popular hate sway my opinion here. So, you know, then I'll go back and listen to the most of the band's other catalog.
Fucked up bitch, a fucked up sword with a fucked up stitch, a fucked up head, it's a fucked up shame, swinging on my nuts.
Oh no, this is shit. This sucks. Oh, damn. Well, you know, I can't even say that's entirely true. This group does have a surprising amount of moments that shine. Like, pick through their catalog and you will find a lot of hidden gems in there. But like, I'm sorry, even for all the good stuff that is in Bizkit's catalog, having to sit through Fred Durst to get to them,
Keep on rolling, baby. You know what time it is.
he really is the Achilles heel of this band, isn't he? He just has this overwhelming anti-charisma with his red backwards Yankees hat, his douchebag goatee, his yelping, screeching, weasel-like voice.
Well, it takes a song now, baby, relax it.
The rest of this band is so talented, but Fred Durst actively subtracts from their talent as a whole. It's like if one of the best prog bands you ever heard in your life had no other choice but to be fronted by Shane Dawson. In fact, I think that's honestly what helps make Rearranged such an easy song to swallow for me. Fred's barely on it. This is one of the very few songs in Bizkit's catalog where Durst isn't going full Durst. For the most part, he's quiet and understated. He's just chilling in the background and letting the other guys carry the song. It allows them to show off without him getting his
This is the real motherfucking deal, y'all.
Durst all over everything. I have always said that if this band pulled an Alter Bridge, I feel like people would really come to understand what makes them so appealing. Maybe there would have honestly been a chance for this band to grow and become something better. There is a part of me that does get what the Defenders see in this band. Honestly, check out some of Wes Borland's solo stuff. You would honestly be shocked at how good it is. Again, there is a decent band buried underneath all of this. But like, outside of this one song and maybe a handful of others if I'm feeling generous, yeah, no. I'm sorry, Fred, I'm not feeling those lighters.
Feeling those lighters. Do it again.
Number 4.
God, Crash, is every song on this list gonna be some nu metal bullshit from your childhood? No. Actually, as a matter of fact, only most of them are. Yeah, I have to admit I have really been mining nostalgia for this video, but that's kinda how your guiltiest pleasures tend to work, you know? It often takes a lot of time and experience for you to see a thing for what it genuinely is and realize why other people drifted away from it. But this next one, this is not particularly old, and it's been a guilty pleasure pretty much since the day it dropped. It is one of those songs I heard a lot of discourse over when it first debuted, but it was also like a pop hit. After it was done with the charts, I basically never heard anyone bring this up again, other than to mock or like bring it down. The song's not even very old, and it's already aged very, very poorly, and I feel like it's only going to get worse and worse as time goes on. But still, I love this goddamn song, and none of you can talk me out of it.
Hey, I was doing just fine before I met you. Drinking too.
I don't know, anytime this song comes on, you bet your ass I am singing along at full volume, as long as I'm in a private place. But let me just quell a few potential red flags for you people. Okay, one, I can't stand the Chainsmokers as a group. Okay? These are not artists I am even going to stand up for a little. Their other work outside of this song is just abysmal. Their instrumental stuff before this is noisy and irritating. Their albums after this are bland and forgettable. Oh, and don't even get me started on Memories. Good God. Even despite all of that, I don't know, this song still hits with me. It's why anytime they drop something, I always give them a try. I just keep hoping they could capture that lightning in a bottle again somehow. And time after time after time, they never do. Because they're the fucking Chainsmokers. They suck. And their one hit song, even though I love it to death, it's a fluke. It is 150% a fluke. Fluke and a half, this song. These guys should be called the Fluke Smokers. Number two, oh God, the lyrics to this.
Friends, it was nice to meet them, but I hope I never see them again.
Yeah, even I can admit, yeah, they're not good. It's the most pretentious kind of dude bro faux sensitive shtick where a complete asshole thinks he's being deep and sensitive, but he's really just horny and stupid and abusive, and this poor girl is 1,000 times better for not having a dickhead like him in her life anymore. And honestly, even Halsey's verse on this, like, I mean, it says she's listed as a songwriter, but I have to think she didn't actually pen these lyrics, because these read more like the delusions of what said fucking pretentious faux hawk wishes the girl he's chasing thought of him. Have you ever seen that scene in 500 Days of Summer where Joseph Gordon-Levitt goes to his ex's party and what he thinks is going to happen plays on one screen while the sad, miserable, tragic reality happens in the other? Yeah, that is what's really going on during the Halsey verses, people. It's one of those songs where I definitely see everything that's wrong with it just bold and blaring and out on the surface, but I can't stop listening to this. I've loved this song from the first time I've heard it. For everything that's wrong with this song, though, God, there is just something so visceral about it. The sting of the synth work just really helps sell it. Every note from those keyboards or laptops or whatever, those notes just hit with the exact right amount of force and urgency. Just, it's blaring and kind of ugly, but like, it fits the motif of the song. It works from like a mood perspective. And even though I can recognize how trashy and skis some of these lyrics are, well, I mean, have you ever been in that kind of relationship? You know the kind that's exciting and bold and thrilling, but also completely unhealthy and outright insane. Everything is complete fucking chaos, but it's all like thrilling and exotic and dangerous. You just get a weird high off of it. Without getting into too much detail, it is something I've experienced, and it's not something I ever want to experience again, but listening to this song, it reminds me of those days, and it reminds me like of the weird kind of just miserable fun you have while in those kind of relationships, you know? If you've ever had a wild, chaotic phase of your life, this song definitely captures that vibe, that strange, dangerous thrill of being a complete hopeless wreck. And for as crazy as it is, there's something kinda twistedly beautiful and human about it. Something about it just reminds me of, again, of the good times that were had during those days, you know? Hey, it's part of being human. We're all great big balls of tragedy sometimes. It reminds me of a time when I was somehow even farther from perfect. What? And it just kind of reminds me that, you know, even when I was that train wreck, I still had a chance at being okay. Number 3. So, ever since I went multi-genre, I've been doing my best to try and incorporate a wider palette of topics on the videos I put out here. Even in this video, I've been kind of trying to spread things out a little bit, but that's the thing, with a topic this personal, it's kind of hard to do. For example, I have no hip-hop on this list. It's really hard to think of much hip-hop that I would call a guilty pleasure. Like, I don't really feel guilty for listening to a lot of this. I went through a Master P phase in high school. Would that count? Do I get shade for liking Make 'Em Say, Well, I don't feel guilty about liking that song, so nah. But there is one genre here I can definitely pull material from. Country. Like, rock and metal were the first genres I got into, but around that same time, my parents were actually trying to get me interested in their music as well. With,
Welcome to Earth, the rock from the sun.
limited success. Some of it did stick, I won't lie. To this day, I still have a very solid appreciation for Reba McEntire, Dolly Parton, and Garth Brooks even. But most of it... No, y'all can keep this. But believe it or not, there was one country artist whose record absolutely struck a chord with me. An artist who would go on to sell millions of records and have a gigantic wave of hits across the country chart. And the song in question is not Achy Breaky Heart. No, seriously, it's not. I mean it. Honestly, I really don't like that song. Even as a 7-year-old, I would listen to that track and think, wow, this is insanely stupid. And honestly, I think my parents felt the same. They would never spin that in the house, and I don't even think they bought his first record. I'll tell you one thing, though. They totally bought that follow-up. In the heart of a woman. It won't be the last. What a strange little record. This one was panned by most critics, but that doesn't mean it still didn't sell like hotcakes. Like, even though this album isn't fondly remembered, man, it got that rotation, people. I heard it all the time on the radio and CMT. Tracks like Heart of a Woman and Somebody New were just constantly all over the place in my house. And even if that record was successful in its own right, nowadays a lot of this stuff is aged like fine yogurt. But god damn it,
I know the words by heart. I know every line.
You know, I think part of the reason Billy Ray hit such a chord with me was because he was already kinda halfway between rock and country for most of his career. This song in particular has a real petty or even a Seeger kind of vibe to it. Turn up the distortion and turn off the cheesy organ and, you know, I could almost see it. Also, this video, like, damn, this is melodramatic. I mean, the song itself is just a simple little tune about finding a breakup letter in an old high school jacket. Are you sure Jeremy was the song you wanted to crib notes from for this one? That is a very different song about high school. Despite the punchline that Billy Ray has kind of become over the years, I can't really say this is a bad song. It honestly has a lot going for it. It's got a good, simplistic, classic rock structure that lends itself well to Billy's overwrought hunger-dunger-dang sort of vocals.
Words by heart. I know every line.
Like, seriously, that's what he's doing here, people. Legit, this is Hunger Dunger Dang. This is probably Hunger Dunger Dang before Hunger Dunger Dang was Hunger Dunger. This is proto Hunger Dunger Dang, people. I'm telling you, if Billy Ray had come out 10 years later, he wouldn't be in country, he'd be in Creed. Prove me wrong. And honestly, outside of the very catchy melodies, I honestly dig the lyrics to this one. It's got a good message behind it. It's about remembering a high school romance that went wrong, but it's not like in a mopey or sad way. He's not yearning for what could have been or anything like that. He's happy it's over. He learned from the dumb mistakes he made as an idiot teenager, and he's happy to be older, wiser, and more mature. And he doesn't even have any hard feelings. That is weirdly insightful for an idiot Hunger Dunger Dang country tune from Billy Ray Cyrus. Wasn't your last big hit about your heart literally exploding if you didn't get the girl you wanted? Now that's what we call a glow up. Even though this song has a lot going for it, you know, it's still a 90s country song from Billy Ray Cyrus, and it's not even one of his more well-known songs. I mean, you know, his well-known songs get enough flack from people, at least the ones that don't feature Lil Nas X. Imagine what it's like being the guy that's into his deep cuts. But, I mean, what can I tell you? Some of them honestly aren't half bad. The dude had a surprisingly decent career in places. And with this track, fuck man, I still know the words by heart. Yes, I'll make that stupid pun to wrap this up, because you know what? The song is worth it. Number 2. Man, oh man, people. This isn't the number 1 pick, but this still might be the pick I'm dreading talking about the most, because this is the part of the video where I have to look you good people dead in the eye and admit with a straight face that I like a Puddle of Mud song. I mean, Puddle of Mud is just so bad. You know, I don't even really want to even get into it. Throwing shade at Puddle of Mud at this point is like talking shit about, say, Andy Dick. What does calling attention to it at this point even accomplish? Their legacies have both been so thoroughly overshadowed by terrible product after terrible product, not to mention their repeated and often completely unrepentant bad behavior, like being the guy to shine yet another light on all that icky stuff. It's like, dude, yeah, we know, no duh, but god damn it, maybe the whole Wes Scantlin situation hurts a little bit extra because at least one time, at least one time in this band's dreadful fucking career, Wes actually got it right. The second single off of Come Clean, actually weird coincidence, but this is like the third song on this list that is a second single. Maybe I'm just addicted to second singles. This song is easily their biggest success, like without a doubt. If you look under their accolades page in Wikipedia, yeah, literally half of it is just Blurry. But I understand why. This was the song that made people stand up and pay attention to them. Especially since that first single, Control. I need to feel you, yeah. Oh, Black. That thing was dated by like the second week it was out. Like that record as a whole is just frustratingly awful. Fuck you, America. Fuck you. Fuck you for making She Hates Me a hit. God damn it. But Blurry is just something else. It's something just out of this world. It's very heartfelt and vulnerable. Wes's lyrics aren't always perfect.
Everything's so blurry, everything wants so fake. Everybody's ill, everything is so messed up.
Was there supposed to be a rhyme in there? It feels like there was supposed to be a rhyme in there. But despite all that, you can still honestly feel every ounce of emotion he's pouring into this. The separation from his son that aches so badly, the desire to be there, but the life of a musician that can't allow him to. It's like the turn the page of the 2000s. I think maybe I should cut back on this stuff. And really, the driving force behind this song is that exquisite guitar work. I mean, listen to what's going on. Those harmonics being plucked in the background, that is simply gorgeous. That melody is the glue that holds the entire song together. And it's not like it's a piss-easy pattern to hammer out or anything either. I mean, it's not Malmsteen or anything, but for a butt rock post-grunge band like this, you never came to expect this kind of proficiency. Where did this even come from? It feels like a completely different band wrote it. For the longest time, I assumed this song was like ghost written by somebody else, or that they just happen to have a really good producer on hand or something like that, but as far as I can tell, that's not the case here. The only writing credits are attributed to the guys in the band, or at least the people who were in the band at the time, and their producer, well, outside of being the main guy for Creed, he doesn't really have a lot of specifically notable achievements. I mean, if it ever did come out that something shady was happening behind the scenes on this track, I feel like I totally believe it, but for all intents and purposes, no, this was Puddle of Mud. This is their achievement, this is their work, and it is literally them at their best. So, how in the hell is a band like this
I can see you every night, rain,
as good as this? Maybe that's the reason why we give Puddle of Mud so much guff, because damn it, there had to have been some kind of genuine creative spark for them to make something this honest to goodness, no BS fantastic. But whatever it was, wow, it certainly didn't last. They only had the one song in them, from what it sounds like. But hey, you know, for everything we can say about Andy Dick, he still has news radio under his belt. And for everything we can say about Puddle of Mud, well, we can never take Blurry away from them. Whew, all right, people, we're almost there, but how about before we hit number one, we do a couple honorable mentions.
that maybe
Yeah, I know, this band got really fucking bad as the years went on, but their first record before they hardcore sold out, I'm a defender, I'm sorry, it still has charm to it. And this is a fun, chill, relaxing little vibe. I don't know, sometimes you just want to get wine mom drunk at noon on a Sunday and eat tapas all day. And you know what? God damn it, I like tapas, and I like this song. I mean, again, this is one of those tracks where I completely understand why it's kryptonite to some people. And let's be real, that whole 90s proto-hippie revival movement aged pretty badly on the whole. But hey, it's a simple melody about being young, angry, and confused, and it just hits me in the right spot, you know? I mean, if nothing else, I gotta give it up for my boy He-Man. Yes, it's the first joke anyone makes when talking about Oasis. Yes, it's been memed to absolute death. Yes, it's so easy to play on guitar, it's laughable. Yes, every pretentious open micer or college guitar douche will bust this one out and make you groan, but the song got as widely known as it did for a damn good reason. It's still a bop, and I stand by that.
Body language.
Not liking this song is homophobia. Fight me. Oh, and this is just pure nostalgia. Seether was one of my favorite bands back when I first heard them, but they were also one of the first bands I remember falling out of love with. Listening to like 99% of this band's back catalog makes me feel like I must have been taking crazy pills back then, because so much of it is like unlistenable. Except this song, I don't know, I still wouldn't call it a good track. I don't know, it's the whole time capsule thing again. This song just reminds me of angry little teenage Crash looking for some way to vent his endless teenage angst, and well, it was there for me at a time when I needed it. It's one of those songs where I don't even know if I could call it a good song, but it's still a track I appreciate nonetheless. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Why am I doing this video? Number 1. Fuck it. Love metal for life. His Infernal Majesty. Him. Which song? Just him. Just him. I love this dumb little band for mall goth idiots. I mean, it's really hard to justify this one too. Not that Him don't have fans. Oh, hell no. Him has a very large and very devoted fan base to this day. Hell, they've been broken up for 4 years now, but Him fans, dude, we are like NASCAR fans or juggalos. God help us. We are ride or fucking die. I mean, I got this tattoo this freaking year. There is no hope for me. Why? What is it that draws us into this band so passionately? What makes their appeal so gripping and consuming? Seriously, I don't know what to tell you. It's one of those things where I listen to the music and I know deep down in my heart, soul, mind, and body that what I'm listening to is trash, but I'm the trash man. I come out and I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage. Thank you do have a sort of unique sound, but it really doesn't change much from record to record, and if you do like the vibe they put out, I mean, there are artists like the Rasmus or the 69 Eyes who arguably probably do it better. They're decent enough musicians, but if you want better goth metal, you won't have to look too terribly hard to find it. To an outsider looking in, it is probably insanely hard to grasp just what the hell attracts us to this band so fervently. And you know, even speaking as a fan, there's a part of me that understands that, because even I'm not 100% sure what the hell it is that makes me so drawn to these guys. I listen to albums like Razorblade Romance and Dark Light and Screamworks, Love in Theory and Practice, Jesus Christ. And I just know it's cheap, it's tawdry, it's tacky, and that I should do better, but I don't wanna. And maybe that's part of it, you know? That's the thing. Him fans, they just get it from all sides. The metalheads tend to not like them because it's, quote, not real metal. The goths tend to not like them because they're not real goths. Even the goth metalheads don't really like them because, like, in terms of goth metal, they're like a third tier band at best. I don't know, in my own experience, I have just never ever found a scene where it was cool to be a Him fan. But damn it, you know, there's a weird kind of appeal to just being that thing, you know? There is. There's an appeal to being an outsider, being niche, this thing that nobody else sees the appeal in. You understand. It makes it all yours. And it makes you feel like an original. I mean, what it actually does is make you a gigantic dorkazoid, but you know where I'm coming from with this, right? And in those rarest of rare moments when you do find another fan out in the wild, you know you have met a true compatriot. You know all the lingo, you know all the history, you know everything, and you two can just talk for hours about this one subject that nobody else in your social circles knows anything about. You are absolutely insufferable to sit next to on the bus. With me, that band was always Him. And you know, it's not like the band is this unappealing and gross thing. Like, they do plenty of stuff to make themselves very interesting and very unique. The heartogram itself is... okay, I can't even front. It is one of the doofiest designs for something I've ever seen, and yet it's still very simple and striking. It catches your attention the moment you see it. Whether you love it or hate it, the minute you lay eyes on this thing, it's got your attention. Their album art and music videos also lay on super thick that sort of seductive, macabre kind of atmosphere. The kind of thing a young goth in training or someone who is interested in goth but doesn't really know a lot about the scene would become instantly attracted to. We all got to start somewhere, and I can imagine this was the kind of introductory band that got people into a lot of more interesting stuff out there. And you know, honestly, I'm probably underselling their musical prowess. Mikko Lindstrom is an extremely capable guitarist. He knows how to construct some fantastic melodies and solos, and they've always had a very interesting and complex way of integrating synth and piano work into the music. And no joke, Ville Valo is a fantastic vocalist with a sickening amount of range and depth to his voice. The biggest appeal this band probably has is honestly, just Ville himself, you know? Look at the guy with his dark, brooding aura, that seductive come hither stare, and those eyes that you could just lose your entire soul into. Okay, real talk. Do I just like this band because I like Ville in a way that would make Jesus angry. Him are just one of those bands that I'm probably not gonna convince many people into getting into. I mean, I get it. It's almost something just in the heart. You just listen to him a few times and you just know whether or not this is gonna be your thing. And when I get caught spinning Venus Doom for the 800th time, maybe I get a little embarrassed, but you know what? Who freaking cares? It's harmless, goofy fun, and there isn't a damn thing wrong with that. We all have those bands, artists, or songs that we know are gonna get us funny looks from people. But you can't please everybody all the time, and honestly, you shouldn't fucking try. Judge me if you want, but I get genuine joy out of all this garbo, and you know what? Your judgments ain't gonna make me any less happy when I put this stuff on. But people, thanks again for watching. I am Crash Thompson, and I will see you in the next video.